Hello everybody, welcome back. So this, I believe, is episode 13. Now, I said at the end of the last episode I was not going to pre-record anymore, but I lied. I figured, one, I've got the time before I get into my kind of night shifts and stock taking and things, let's pre-record a third episode. So again, this is a continuation straight from episode 12. Episode 12 was a continuation straight from the recording of episode 11. So if anyone says anything or comments and they don't see it in any of the other episodes, I do apologise. It is not that I'm ignoring you. I am just pre-recording them. Now, what's just happened in the last 20 minutes? So I forgot to press record. So I've been literally talking to myself, which I do anyway, but literally no one could have heard what I've just said for the last 20 minutes. So yeah, bit of a blunder on my part. Always click the button that says start recording. That tends to help. Now, just to explain what's happened. So the money is higher, as you can tell, 10,107. Now, I did actually do a contract off camera anyway, so I didn't record it either way, but I did a fertilizing contract in field 43, which is a decent size one. I purposely didn't record that because it took quite a while, as is this one, which I've just been talking to myself about for the last 20 minutes. But I purposely skipped that. 4,200 and something pound, I think that one gave. And then I started the episode as soon as I finished it, and we got this contract. So I'll just show you a moment. So the active contract there is £3,906 for field 36. I'm 85% of the way through it before I realised I was talking to myself. The reason I've just jumped back in actually from talking to myself is because we've just run out of fertiliser, and I was about to say we need to put back to the shop to top that up, and then at that point I thought, oh, I don't remember clicking record. So here I am. This is where we've started. Now, the only other little things that we did do just prior to driving up to this field and starting the contract was we topped up the chickens. I think I put 3, maybe 4 wheelbarrows full of food in there just because it's getting a bit annoying having to do that every day. So I thought if I stick a few in there in one go, I can leave that for a minute or two. We've checked in on the lettuce. The greenhouse nearly ran out of water. However, we generated, I think from memory, 2,000 litres of lettuce. So there was 4 pallets there. That's right. And it was, yeah, it's only 48 litres. And it is actually missing materials now. Look, so it is actually missing water. So we do need to top that water up now in the time that's taken me to do that. Now, I've got a bit of flickering going on. I have already spoke about this, but of course you wouldn't know that. Because of my amateur blunder. So a little bit of flickering's come back. It always seems to be this time of the year, so I really don't know what it is. I'm certain it happens on every map, so now more and more people I'm watching videos, I'm seeing it happening to them as well. So it's a Giants thing, I think. They fixed it, and now they seem to have broken it again in the last patch. That's the first time I noticed it started doing it. So now, in the meantime, old Sid, I'm going to call him Sid, because I think that's how, yeah, I don't know how you say his name, but Sid. He lied to us in the last episode. He didn't have a great demand, but now this episode he has. So £5,755 for eggs per 1,000. We don't have 1,000, but we have probably half that, maybe. So we just can't not do this now. So 672 pieces. Now, my initial goal, as you hopefully will remember from the end of the last episode, was to get the seeder today. And the way to do it was 2 contracts, the one that I've already done, and then the one that you've kind of joined me doing, which I'm midway through. However, this great demand is probably actually going to take us to the money that we need to buy that seeder. So we will obviously still finish the contract. We're 85% through it, but this is great. So for definite now, we will be able to get that field drilled, and obviously it's direct drill, so it wouldn't need cultivating. So we can get it planted today, and then we can probably go over it with a lot of fertilizer as well. And maybe this might have even just given us enough to purchase the details of the land. And potentially we could look at getting the nitrogen right, the pH levels correct. I don't know if that fertilizer spreader we have, that little one, actually spreads lime. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to jump in. Have we got anything good in here today? Okay, I mean, that's not a bad deal. I don't think we can afford that. How much is our current trailer worth? Probably nowhere near. Okay, yeah, let's forget that. That's not going to happen. So what I want to do is just have a look at this fertilizer spreader. Did it give us the option to do lime? No. Okay, it doesn't. That's a shame, because that would have been good. And obviously we aren't leasing. That one also doesn't give you the option of lime. That one does, but that is very expensive. Okay, so that's a shame. Maybe we'll have to have a look at some different mods, see if we can get a fertilizer spreader that does lime at some point, ready for our next upgrade, I guess, once we outgrow this 10 meter one that we're using. But to be honest, it's perfectly fine at the minute. I quite like it, so we're not going to rush into that. Now, 2,000 things of lettuce. Are we at a place where lettuce is a decent price as well? I seem to remember around December, January was the best. Yeah, so not this episode. I think we might as well save it. We'll do it in January. What's it now? 3,000. An extra 300 quid per thousand. I mean, there's only 600 quid in it, but let's leave it. We don't need to do that. So let's get these eggs done a minute. Then I'll jump back into what I was doing, which was about to head to the shop to get some fertilizer, and then finish that field, which is going to get us, just shy of £4,000 as well on top. So I'll probably drive the tractor there, by the way, because the last time I picked up the fertilizer bags in this van, it kind of went through the road, went into the map, and it caused a bit of a traffic jam, if you remember a few episodes back. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk it again. I'm trying to limit the usage of this van, just because we know we need to replace it. I don't want it to break down, because I did say as a bit of a rule, if the van breaks down, we've always got to have some sort of active utility vehicle. So if it breaks down, we're going to have to replace it, which is going to be £5,000 for the new van, the Iveco. So yeah, I'm trying to limit that so that we don't have to do that just yet, because I feel like the progress is pretty good. As soon as we get this seeder, this direct drill, it's going to change everything. Definitely. Where am I going? Where am I going? Right, I need to go to the tent. It's our mate Sid there that's given us the best prices, not the farmer's market. Right, let's drive around. Obviously we don't drive through hedges down here. So see how much this is going to get us. So 1,000 will get us 5,000 and something. So this is going to get maybe 3. Okay, 3,866, of course, minus the 249 environmental score. We need to sort out that environmental score. So we'll buy this seeder. We've actually just now got enough to get the seeder. Just about. But I would like to buy the data. So I did mention maybe in the pilot episode or the first proper episode that although it's kind of like a bit of a challenge mode, realistically in real life, you would pay someone to come and give you some field data if you required it. I can't imagine every farmer in the world has high-tech pieces of equipment that scan their soil types, so we will just pay for it. Definitely, I think that's fair to do. That's not too unrealistic. Doesn't help when I park the van actually in the wall. That probably doesn't help with its maintenance, does it? But anyway, right, so good. I'm happy with that. And we've got, a few thousand sat there as well for the next probably the next episode or the episode after that. So I did mention in the last one, it really does feel like we're going to start making some progress now, and it does feel like that. Certainly this episode's feeling pretty good now. So yeah, we're going to drive this to the shop, we're going to fill it up. It only holds about 300 litres, so 3 bags. Come back and finish that off, just shy of £4,000 I think I said. So I mean, that's the most amount of money that we've ever had by the time we cash in this contract. It's not going to last very long though. Okay, just pulling up to the shop now, so let's just jump in and get these bags. I'm pretty sure they were on the big bags. Yeah, so we only need to get 3 fertilizer bags. 2, 3. Right, just chuck them straight into the back. Can we just pick them up? I keep getting out and doing a bit of role play and actually manually feeding them in, but can I just pick them up from here? Can I just be lazy? No. No, you can't. Let's do it this way then. So we'll have to check in on the greenhouse at some point and just make sure that's doing alright, but for a minute. 299 litres, so it doesn't hold 300 litres then, it must hold just slightly over. But also, why have they ripped me off a litre? 1 litre of fertiliser, it's meant to be 300 litres. This is taking the mick. Right, head back to the field, just finished. There's only a few passes to do, to be honest. Like I said, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I quite like to do the contracts actually in the recording, just so that you can see that they are genuinely being done. But you'll have to take my word on it, because I forgot to press that magic button. Okay, here we go. Stick cruise control on. And this shouldn't take too long. As you can see, the bigger tractor makes no difference whatsoever. So the 6 miles per hour, which we used to get out of the International, is obviously the limit on the fertilizer spreader, rather than the tractor not being powerful enough. So it's a slow job. At least it's got a half decent spread. I mean, this is only a 10 meter one, you know the other ones there, some of them are 36 meter. I know you can go crazy and get up over 40, but a 36 meter one's quite reasonable, and that would make these jobs much quicker. Potentially too quick, but it is something. If I can find a mod that will do the fertilizer and also do the lime, then I will install it, and that will be a priority at some point in the near future, because we are going to need to do it if we want to get our environmental score up. But anyway, right, I'll just do these last couple passes. I won't time lapse it. I'll just maybe do a couple of cinematic shots just on these last few bits, and then we'll jump back in, collect our contract, and see how much money we have. Oh dear. Okay, brilliant. So it's just come up finished, but I will just get to this last section here now. Just finish the job properly. Not that we need to. But that's it. Great. So let's stop the engine a moment. There we go, completed. So collect that, ideal. So there's no more fertilizer and contrast now, I do not believe. Still seems to be a heck of a lot of harvesting ones, but yeah, that's fine. So what are we at? 17,481. I mean, that's fantastic. Wow. So we know what we need to do. We need to buy the seeder. So let's just do that now. We will put the transportation wheels onto it. Where is the seeder? Where it is. And we will go for the Vulture just because it suits the tractor a bit better. I quite like that. It's pretty good. So £13,250, which is £250 less than what I thought, which is good. Brilliant. So we still have 4,231, which is more than what we have most episodes, even before we buy anything. So that's pretty good. Now, what is this going to cost us? So pop the precision farming on. Now, purchase soil information. £525. I think we do that. So £300 for 6 samples, provide a cost. So the £225 is what you normally wouldn't have to pay. So that's essentially what you're paying someone to do the job for you. So it charges you for it. Therefore, I do feel it is realistic. So let's have a look. So what have we got? Wow. And the majority of it is actually loam, which is great. And then it's sandy loam right in the top left corner there. So happy with that. That's good. That couldn't be any better really. But what have we got? So pH is not very good. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's not very good. It's kind of right in the middle of the scale there. The nitrogen, of course, is pretty bad. Now, the great news is because we've purchased the data, we could probably increase that score just by spreading some fertilizer over it. Therefore stopping or at least reducing the amount of penalty we get every time we sell something, which by the way is going to be all of that lettuce probably in the next episode. So straight away it's kind of worth the £525 we've just spent on the data. So while I'm here and while it's connected up, let's just go over this. Now obviously different crops need different nitrogen, so there's a chance that potentially we don't need it, but it is going to start us off with a slightly better nitrogen score, so let's do it. And actually on the little mini map there it puts it straight to green, so I do know I think it's soybean potentially doesn't actually need that much nitrogen, whereas other crops do. Now I think I'll probably go barley just for the chickens. That does need, I believe, quite a lot of nitrogen or fertilizer, so this isn't a waste. This isn't going to do any harm. This is just going to give us a good starting point before we actually do the drilling. So shouldn't take too long. This isn't going to take anywhere near as that contract we've just done. I have just missed the little spot there. I don't know if I'm too concerned about that or not. Although I did say in one of the last episodes that when it comes to our own field I will do it properly, so I better at least try. But yeah, this isn't going to take very long at all, which is good, and it's nice to see a little bit of green there on the map already. So yeah, straight away we're going to go straight down, pick up the new seeder, the direct drill. I think probably, oh okay, well that didn't last anywhere near as long as I thought it was going to. So that's because we've obviously now got the field data. It's obviously worked out it needs a heck of a lot more. So that's a bit annoying. That's gone through that quite quickly, but more than likely that would only be the first time round, and then going forward it would use a lot less. But there's no point taking this fertilizer spreader with us because we want to go pick up that seeder. Now what I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted by the spreader running out was I'll probably buy, as soon as we've got the money, a big bag of seed. Although we have got some left, it's just extra to put into the greenhouse, which we'll more than likely need it at some point. Now, I should have topped that greenhouse up as well, actually, because I did say it didn't have any water. But we're already on the way, so once we get back with the seeder, before we start seeding, I'll just quickly top up the greenhouse. Now, the good thing with the eventual replacement to the Citroen is the Iveco Daily, the van, the big kind of transporter van, does actually have the option to fit a towing eye, or a tow hitch to the back of it. So we could use that potentially for little odd jobs, like topping out the water and things, rather than relying on the one tractor. And don't forget, I did say right at the very beginning, if I need to use it and money allows, I will still use the helpers, because they're part of the game and they're part of real life. People do have people that work for them, or they do pay contractors to come and do jobs. So I will still use them. I won't use things like Courseplay or I can't think of the word. Auto Drive. That's the one. I won't use them only because, you know, I still do the headlands of the fields, and then just use AIs to kind of do the infill pieces. I think that's kind of fair. So this seeder is huge. This is absolutely massive. It also doesn't seem to want to connect. How do you connect it? Okay. So, how does this work? Don't understand. Okay, so you connect. You still connect from here. Okay, I'm confused by this. So, unfold seeder. Folding is not allowed while the tool is attached to this attacher joint. Okay, fine. So why wouldn't it let me attach it from the other side? Why did it let me attach it from this side? Okay, I am really confused by this. I'm really confused by this, because it's not allowing me to attach it. I mean, does that pin not connect to this, maybe? I mean, it should do. It definitely should do. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. That was bizarre. So I'm just going to have to hope we can get this through. It is going to be tight. I have to ride up the wall there a little bit. I don't understand how you're meant to connect it with the transportation wheels. It is it's a bit annoying actually, because that's the main reason why I went for it, but you can't seem to connect it. I don't know whether or not it's this tractor, but this tractor connects fine to this hitch. But yeah, very bizarre. One thing that is kind of cool about it though is you can actually like get into it. So I don't understand the benefit of having to get into the seeder, but you can get into it. You can actually stand on that back platform, and you seem to be able to change the seed rate and things, but then you try and lower the seeder and it tells you to be connected to a tractor. So I'm not quite sure the reason for doing that. I don't know what the benefit is of having that as an option, but anyway, it's kind of different either way. But so this was the bit I was a bit iffy about, but to be fair, the wall actually ends just in the right place, so doesn't really go with my realism thing that I wanted to do. But do you know what I haven't done? I didn't get the seed and I didn't get the fertilizer. I got so carried away with trying to figure out what was wrong with this, I didn't actually do it. Now, what I have realised, and I didn't realise before, was you can actually put fertiliser and seed into this, so it very much works the same as the other versions, the John Deere version you can get. So that's quite cool. But we have the money, I believe, to do it, but I didn't buy them. So I'll use the old Citroen van, which I parked in the wall. I'll go back and I'll have to get probably a pallet of each, just because of the way the forklifter works. It doesn't like using those bags too much. So I'll probably get a pallet of seed and a pallet of fertiliser. At least we've got some spare in the background for the greenhouse, but I don't know how much this is going to use. Obviously, with the field data now from the precision farming, don't know whether or not the first time around it's going to use additional seed. I think the loam areas tend to be the lower seed rate, because obviously the soil is better. Where the soil isn't as good, it needs more seeds to get it to germinate, I guess. So I would imagine, hopefully, it doesn't need a lot of seeds, but we might as well get it while we're here. I'll put a pallet in the back and a pallet on the roof using the shop's forklift, and then just keep the rest as reserves. And I still forgot as well to do the water. Oh, I'm having a right mare this episode. Anyway, right, we are here now. If I park kind of here somewhere. It normally spawns behind, so it's going to have to be either pallets or big bag pallets. I know they work out a little bit more expensive, but that's fine. So £900 for seeds. How much is it to get a normal pallet? Solid fertilizer in bags. 1400 for 750. Is that any cheaper? Don't know. Right, definitely cheaper, and it's from the multi-pallet mod, but we only need one anyway. So it's definitely cheaper. Is it cheaper? Oh, I don't know. You get 1050 for 950. I don't know. Don't think there's much in it, to be honest with you. We need to get solid fertilizer. 1400 for 750. Yeah, it's hardly anything in it, so we'll get one of them as well. Pretty much puts our balance right back down again, but it's fun because we're going to top up the greenhouse, which is worth a lot of money to us. The lettuce is quite an important part of our income still, so it is worth it. It's not wasted. Right, I'll go in lengthways with the seeds and we'll put them into the back. Brilliant. And then we'll open them up and we'll go widthways onto the top because we're going to go from the side. Doesn't seem to want to let me out. Is it going to let me out? Okay, I mean, not amazing, but that would do. Okay, not the best stacking job in the world, that's for sure. But it's on there. It's probably not going to let me back out the van again. But that's fine. Right, I'll meet you back at the farm. So here we are. We are back. Now, I think if I pull that there... Oh, it did let me out. That's good. Right, fill up this. And anything that's left, which is not very much, but we'll put it into the greenhouse. Now, why is it not? Oh, there we go. So potentially it's going to use all of that fertilizer. Yeah, but there are still some seeds. So how are we looking in here? So I know that seeds is okay. Fertilizer is actually alright. So we do need to put some water. So before we get too carried away with the seeding, let's pop some water into there. So at least it's still producing us some form of money or value in the background. I don't know if I can get to that trailer now though. I parked that spreader in a silly position. Okay. There we go. I also parked that seeder in a silly position. Okay, right, we've got to keep an eye on money again as per normal because we are getting quite low. But let's try and get a little bit more this time. So 2,000 litres. Let's stop it there. That's good. So £200. So we've still got £631, which is good. That's fine. Hopefully, it's not going to use too much seed, like I said on the way to the shop there. Hopefully, that is going to be enough. We can't actually afford to buy another bag of seeds now. So, oh, interesting. It lets me unload from there. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do, as we're starting to run out, let's leave this here. Great. It's only a water tanker after all. Right, so let's do it. This is probably going to round us up for this episode, I would have thought. So it'd be nice to finish the episode with the seeder and a seal. Our first field completely seeded. That would be great. Will it pull it? I guess that's the next question. Okay, so that's it lowered. Interesting. So I haven't actually turned the seeds on yet, but it's somehow turned them on itself. Good. Well, looks like it's planting it. We are going with wheat. Is that what we want to go with? I kind of didn't really look and change it, if I'm honest with you, but wheat's probably fine. Let's just have a look. Chickens. So, grain. Yeah, so it makes no difference, really. I think, to be honest with you, I am going to change that. We'll re-drill it with barley. Yeah, so obviously you don't actually turn the seeder on because it's a direct drill. I guess you just lower it and it does it. Must be driven by the wheels. This tractor actually does a pretty good job. It's quite speedy. It's not taking too long at all. We have used coming up to 90 litres of seed already, however, so my prediction of hopefully we wouldn't need more than one bag of seed may have been wrong. It's looking like potentially we're going to need quite a bit more, but we should make our money back from it. Now let's just head into that corner properly. Need to do this properly, maximise as much as we could possibly get. So, right, I'll time lapse the rest. See how far we get without the seeds. Obviously, we don't have the money to buy any more seeds. We don't have the money to buy any more fertiliser either. Oh, actually, I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's actually fertiliser that is going down faster than the seeds. So, no, scrap that. The seeds are alright. So, yeah, I reckon we can finish this field. Potentially just buy a bit more fertiliser and we'll just go over it again with the little spreader. So that'll be fine. This is going to work out alright. So I will just time lapse the rest and I'll catch you very, very soon. Okay, so back in. So yeah, pretty good. So we've still got, once we got into that middle bit of fertiliser, it didn't actually seem to use a great deal. So 575 litres of fertiliser still, which, to be honest, potentially I might just unload that in the next episode and fill up the spreader from it and then just go over it with the actual fertiliser spreader. Still 677 litres of seeds as well. So not too bad actually. It's used about, I mean, overall, I guess probably about half of what we spent we've used. So we'll get, in theory, another field out of all of that if we don't touch it for anything else. So good, I'm happy with that. So that is the field of barley planted. So that's the first time that we've planted. So we are now making our own money, and it should be good money. So obviously, what we use for chickens is good money. It may not come instantly, but you know it's good money because turning barley into eggs is one of the easiest ways to make profit in this game for definite. So we are looking pretty good. We are looking pretty good. Next episode, potentially we're looking at saline lettuce. So we did top up the water. Let's put my torch on a minute. So, yep, it's now got water, which will keep it going. 92 litres, so it's generated another 40 or 50 litres just while we were seeding the field. So, you know, it'd be great if we have another 1,000 ready for January when we sell it. That's going to bring in quite a bit of income. This, obviously, I don't know how long it's going to take actually. Obviously, seasonal growth isn't on, but 2 or 3 game months. Is it 3? Maybe it's 4 game months. Am I right in thinking for barley? I think that's one of the quicker ones. I might be wrong though. So we've obviously got to harvest that. Hopefully that will time itself quite well though with when the chickens need some food. Because I don't think there's much more than 1,000 litres there. But yeah, pretty good overall. So it's only actually 428, but I guess it's probably again that the relight which is making the lighting more realistic, apart from the flickering trees. But yeah, it certainly feels a lot darker. But to be honest, there's not really much more we can do today anyway. So thank you very much. £631, but it's looking pretty promising. I'll see you again for the next episode. Cheers now. Bye bye.